of each child's father and mother. What was your reaction?
I don't know about this anymore. We're talking about youth soccer. And for God's sake, we're in the USA. We're in California, of all places.
Was there a concern that Caleb, who's African American and doesn't speak any Spanish, was now in jeopardy on this team?
100%.
What did you think about that?
It was ridiculous.
And it wasn't just the African American parents who were concerned.
A lot of questions, from Mr. Anderson and Mr. Wilmore. Kids are white. Are my kids able to play in the academy?
They would ask that bluntly. My kids are white.
Yeah.
May not have a spot for me.
Yes.
Chronopoulos says that he and Kalishman had had enough. So they filed complaints with the team's Human Resources Department. Soon after, they say they were called in to meet separately with Chivas USA's new president, a Mexican, Jose David.
He proceeded to tell me that Chivas was going back to their Mexican roots and there was really no place for me. And I said, excuse me?
I said, I can't believe it. Please repeat this. What are you saying?
And I sat there in kind of shock that, my God, this is what it feels like, to feel discrimination.
Is there any chance that you were wrong, that they were just moving in a different direction because they didn't like you as a coach? They were just going to bring different people in.
No. Actually, he told me that I was a great coach. They said it has nothing to do with your performance.
After their meeting with Chivas USA, both men received termination letters. You lost your job for, quote, demonstrating unprofessional conduct and for creating an unsafe work environment.
Nonsense. They told me I was an excellent coach. They told me I was good at what I did.
Did you ever have a chance to go back and talk to your team?
I didn't. And actually, I brought that up to them, saying, my God, I'm not even going to get a chance to say goodbye to my players. I never was able to look them in the eye and shake their hands and say, good luck to you guys. You guys keep going.
Is that painful?
Yeah, it's really painful. It's really painful.
Kalishman and Chronopoulos filed lawsuits alleging ethnic and racial discrimination, allegations the team denied. The fired coaches were in short order replaced by two new ones who could speak Spanish, though neither was Mexican. You were replaced by a guy who certainly doesn't sound like he's Mexican.
He's not Mexican. Keith Costigan is not Mexican.
Couldn't that be Exhibit A, proof that it just happened to be you were let go?
I feel like they hired a non-Mexican to protect themselves. Just because they hired one person, that doesn't mean that the philosophy of this club is not discriminatory.
After Kalishman and Chronopoulos were fired, Shamilla Pennington decided that it was also time for her son Caleb to leave.
His initial question was, Mom, why am I not going to practice? What's going on? How do you explain this to an 11-year-old boy that the color of his skin is not acceptable for this team? I think he understands, but I know that he was very disappointed. Very, very disappointed.
And there weren't just changes throughout Chivas' youth academy. Their professional team was also being overhauled. Out was their American coach. In was a Mexican coach. In 2012, there were just 3 players of Mexican descent. This year, the majority of the team is either Mexican or Mexican-American.
I mean, definitely there was an influx of Mexican-American talent, without a doubt. I mean, there's no way around it.
James Riley says he didn't recognize his teammates literally when he showed up at training camp in January. And 3 of the players he did know from the year before were cut within days.
To be able to see that in front of you is definitely very alarming, especially guys that you have, played with, went to battle with, competed with.
Were they bad players?
No, very good players.
Ethnically, what are they?
2 were black. One is Canadian, white.
Riley, who's black and Korean, was soon gone too. After having led the team in minutes played the year before, he was shipped off to DC United. Do you think you were traded because you're not Mexican or Mexican-American?
Yeah, I would say.
Do you think your teammates were traded because they're not Mexican or Mexican-American?
Yes. It was just a systematic expulsion of players that didn't align with what they're trying to do with Chivas USA.
Did you ever think, in this day and age, that you'd be talking about not getting a job because you're black and you're Korean?
Right, never.
We asked Chivas USA if we could speak with Jorge Vergara, but they declined our request. After repeated inquiries, the team told us we could speak with this man, Paco Palencia, the director of soccer for Chivas USA, recently brought in from Mexico. We were given 15 minutes. Jorge Vergara said this. I want to recreate Chivas USA as an extension of Chivas Guadalajara. What did that mean?
The culture in Mexico, to bring it here, I mean culture like in football and soccer.
Is there a strategy
No.
to make Chivas USA have more Mexican or Mexican-American players?
No.
When players tell me they saw systematic expulsion of players who were not Mexican or of Mexican descent. Is that true?
Of course not.
Are they lying?
I don't know if they're lying. Our goal is bring good players, good skills. We don't pay attention if they are Mexican, Mexican-American, Europeans. We just bring talent here.
Are you denying that there's been tremendous changes on the team and you've hired a huge number of Mexican or players and coaches and staff of Mexican descent?
We make a lot of changes in Chivas USA because the numbers of the last years, they're not good.
And how are the numbers of this year?
The numbers are good now.
Actually, the team has 4 wins all season, just 1 since March, leaving Chivas USA deeply rooted in last place. You know what this is?
What's that?
This is the questionnaire that everyone had to fill out. So it says name and place of birth and position, I assume, on the team. And then they ask for the place of origin of the father and place of origin of the mother. So every player, they had to fill that out. Why would you fill that out?
Just to have information.
Why would you need to ask this of a 10-year-old kid for that?
In Mexico, they asked me to fill it out there as well. And in Mexico, to play in the game in the same team. I don't just to get some information. I don't think that it's wrong with that.
We had many more questions for Palencia and Chivas USA, but soon after this exchange, team officials decided our time was up.
No, we want some more.
We've got plenty of time for the game. Lance, the last question. You don't have to go. You don't want to answer the question. We also had questions for Major League Soccer. We wanted to know if the league feels comfortable with the changes at Chivas USA and why they've allowed the team to remove, by Real Sports' count, 17 non-Mexican players in just the last year. But MLS declined our request for an interview. In a statement, the league told us it had a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination of any kind and is committed to diversity.
All right, Kayla?
Meanwhile, Shamila Pennington and her son Caleb have moved on. A year after Chivas USA personnel were allegedly told that if they didn't speak Spanish, they could go to the LA Galaxy, Caleb did just that. He's now captain of the Galaxy's 12 and under team.
Good game. Did you rest?
James Riley has moved on too, now happier, he says, playing with DC United.
Cleaner touches, right? Cleaner touches in the middle so we can get out.
But Teddy Chronopoulos and Dan Kalishman say they will not let what happened to them stand. They say they expect to see their lawsuit through and to win.
In the United States, if you are discriminating by ethnicity, it's illegal. And that's what I believe that he's doing. LA is a diverse city. His team should be the same. Everyone should have that same opportunity to make this Major League Soccer team, which is an American league in the United States, no matter what your ethnicity is.